Hello dear, welcome back to this channel. SEC retreats from $50 million debt box lawsuit as community cries foul play. Ripple's chief technology officer and a notable cryptocurrency attorney have both voiced their displeasure with the SEC's approach to the debt box issue, citing the overreach of the agency as the reason for their discontent. The case, which is currently being unraveled with revelations of bogus claims, has not only caused financial burden, but has also done emotional damage to the parties involved in light of the recent decision by the Securities and Exchange Commission to drop a $50 million fraud action against Debtbox, as well as the company's confessions of making misleading statements. XRP Lawyers, led by John Dessen, have expressed their disapproval of the leadership of SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. I've never seen an organization that is more in need of genuine leadership than this one. CC modification of the $50 million, the recent motion to dismiss charges against Debtbox that was filed by the Securities and Exchange Commission has caused a stir in the community. Federal judges, including Judge Torres, have referred to SEC attorneys as hypocrites in the Ripple litigation. The legal community has become more suspicious as a result of this move, which has cast a shadow over the legal arguments that the SEC has presented in other cases. Deaton was left in a state of bewilderment after an appellate court found that the Securities and Exchange Commission's decision to deny a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund was arbitrary. At the same time that dishonest lawyers were found guilty, he accused the SEC of attempting to protect them from the consequences of their actions. A ban on sexy lawyers appearing in cases that are presided over by the judge was proposed by Deaton, which would make the judicial drama even more intense. Ripple's legal head exposes flaws in Coinbase versus SEC. Whereas the Securities and Exchange Commission, prominent attorneys such as Jeremy Hogan and Bill Morgan have raised concerns regarding the sudden switches in tactics employed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. They have pointed out that the agency has been adamant about pursuing a significant fraud case, but has subsequently retreated when confronted with the possibility of adverse consequences. The frustration is obvious among attorneys representing XRP, and claims are flying that the Securities and Exchange Commission is engaging in games within the courtroom. Even Paul Grewal, the chief legal officer of Coinbase, expressed his disapproval of the Securities and Exchange Commission for provoking difficulty and then attempting to extricate David Schwarz, the chief technology officer of Ripple, has also criticized the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for playing dirty in the Debtbox case. What happens to the market value? Even though the Securities and Exchange Commission admitted that they had made a mistake, the ramifications were immediate and severe, with the market value of the related coin falling by 56. Nevertheless, the lesson is more than just the particulars of the situation. The need of SEC lawyers remembering that they are dealing with actual people and their livelihoods was underlined by John Dessen. The issue is not simply one of rules. Rather, it is one of fairness and justice. This is not merely a legal battle. Rather, it is a demand that the Securities and Exchange Commission behave responsibly and fairly when dealing with cryptocurrency enterprises. Not only are people watching, but they also demand justice and fairness that goes beyond legal action. Attorneys who support XRP, such as John Dessen, have voiced their disapproval of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and Gary Gensler. This comes after the SEC filed a motion to dismiss the controversial Debtbox lawsuit in order to avoid the possibility of sanctions and penalties for misleading the court in order to obtain a restraining order and asset freeze against the cryptocurrency company Debtbox. Attorneys for XRP, including the SEC chair Gary Gensler, have voiced their opposition. In response to the Shoka's order and penalties for lying in federal court that Judge Robert Shelby issued, the Securities and Exchange Commission has made the decision to dismiss the controversial $50 million fraud action that was filed against Debtbox. Within the context of the Debtbox action, the Securities and Exchange Commission has admitted to making misleading representations. John Deaton, an attorney who represents 75,000 holders of XRP, has criticized Gary Gensler, the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, for this scandal that occurred when Gensler was in charge of the SEC. In recent charges that have been made against firms, he stated that attorneys for the Securities and Exchange Commission have not shown a genuine allegiance to the law. The Securities and Exchange Commission was subjected to severe criticism from a number of federal courts, including Judge Torres, who referred to SEC attorneys as hypocrites in the Ripple action. The denial of a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund EF by the Securities and Exchange Commission was deemed to be unreasonable and capricious by an appellate court in the Grayscale case. In spite of those astounding fact findings that would cause any lawyer or leader to recoil in shame and disgrace, the attorneys representing your organization proceeded to act in a manner that was completely indifferent to the truth and to the pursuit of justice. Now, you are trying to protect your corrupt attorneys from having to face the very law that they pledged to obey, and you are running away while doing so, added Deaton. The strategy that the Securities and Exchange Commission commissioned Shikook in the complaint was attacked by other attorneys, such as Jeremy Hogan and Bill Morgan. They stated that the SEC asserted that a fraud for multiple millions of dollars was committed against Americans, but that it decided to drop the lawsuit in order to spare itself from shame and sanctions. In response to the Securities and Exchange Commission's unjustified lawsuits against cryptocurrency companies such as Ripple, Binance, and Coinbase, XRP attorneys have complained that the SEC is misleading judges by demanding jurisdiction across the cryptocurrency industry. The Coinbase clove for the embarrassment. Paul Grewal also criticized the Securities and Exchange Commission's SEC and its attorneys for withdrawing a lawsuit after causing damage to the companies and requesting that he be dismissed without prejudice. David Schwarz, the chief technology officer of Ripple, had pointed out that the Securities and Exchange Commission had acted improperly in the debt box action. He condemned the SEC for shamelessly distorting facts in order to obtain the ore before the opposing party could defend itself. Two prominent cryptocurrency analysts have identified commonalities that support the hypothesis that XRP will have a price explosion comparable to the one that gripped markets 5 years ago. It is possible that the potential comeback will occur when a symmetrical triangle breakout occurs, which might happen very soon, following a protracted period of consolidation that was marked by significant underperformance. A recent research draws attention to historical price patterns and momentum indicators that are becoming increasingly bullish for the token that is currently experiencing considerable difficulties. XRP drew out a multi-year triangle that was almost comparable to the one it had formed after reaching its top in 2013 and then beginning a negative trend, according to one market observer. XRP was able to maintain its range-bound status because to its structure until a dramatic upward resolution in 2017 added 4 zeros to its price. XRP will be closed for the month on Wednesday. At the moment, we are focusing on the symmetrical triangle and the MACD. The previous time we were inside of a symmetric triangle, the MACD indicator crossed above zero, which resulted in a rebound with a parabolic move as a result of Ripple XRP falling behind the present bull market. A new symmetrical triangle has now capped the upside. On the other hand, one of the most significant differences in this cycle is the amount of time spent carving the technically attractive shape. Should we expect another rise for XRP? According to the opinion of another analyst, the current version calls for an ultimate capitulation wick in order to create the conditions for fireworks. Intriguingly, a large downward wick did precede the euphoria that occurred in 2017, when holders who were dissatisfied with the lack of returns started to give up. The experts anticipate that the despair phase will occur once more, providing one last opportunity to enter at a reduced price before the launch comes about.